Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today we'll be looking at some recent research that Novarica will be presenting on trends that they're seeing among insurers related to policy admin system replacement and how technology providers are addressing these trends. Just some housekeeping. At the end of the session, there will be time for questions. You can send those in using the question pane situated at the right of your screen. Before we start, I'd like to introduce our panelists. From Novarica, we are very pleased to welcome Chad Hirsch, and Tom Benton. Chad is a managing director in the insurance practice at Novarica. Chad is widely recognized as a knowledge leader on insurance core systems and has conducted numerous vendor selection processes for U.S. and international insurers. Tom Benton is a principal in the insurance practice with expertise in IT strategy, core system implementation, and project management. From OneShield, we have Richard Barbarino, Director of Sales Engineering, where for the past 7 years he served as solution architect, leading strategic and tactical planning and design sessions in all aspects of their Dragon product for several large, complex, and highly successful implementations. Finally, we have Jim Tuma, Senior Sales Associate at Xpertdoc, who has over 20 years of experience working with document-intensive industries and who's used his experience to help businesses advance their technology and processes to be more successful. So welcome all, and thank you to all the panelists for being here with us today. So let's get started. Tom, I'm going to pass the floor over to you.
Okay, thank you, Marlene, and thank you to everyone joining us today. My name is Tom Benton. As Marlene mentioned, I'm a principal with Novarica. I've been with Novarica for the last 1.5 years, and previous to that was a CIO for a mid-sized life and annuity insurer. And I'm joined by Chad Hirsch, who's a managing director at Novarica. Next slide, please. For those not familiar with Novarica, we're a research and advisory firm focused on strategy for insurance technology with a research library of over 300 reports and a community of IT leaders we call the Novarica Insurance Technology Research Council. More information can be found at our website at novarica.com. So we'll move forward to the next slide. In our survey of insurer priorities for 2014, policy administration system projects were the highest priority project for insurers. Interest in policy admin replacement has been strong for several years, and from research earlier this year, we see increased success of these implementations as part of overall core technology transformations. Okay, next slide. A key driver for interest in policy admin replacement has been customer experience improvement. Insurers are mentioning reasons like those listed here: better data accessibility, faster product development and customer service, moving from legacy systems that are policy-centric to more customer-centric view, and lack of a unified view of the customer. All of these areas contribute to overall customer experience, but legacy policy admin systems generally do not have strong capabilities for providing information to customers over multiple communication channels.
And Tom, I would just add that, you know, one of the things that we find in dealing with policy admin system replacement, the business drivers for it, is that the need for new products, you know, not just speed to market for products, but the need for new products in general is often a driver. And one of the challenges with building out new products in a core system and in general is that there's a lot of work that has to go into not only building out the product in the system, but also building out all the forms and deck pages and everything else that go with that product. So that's, you know, one of the things that drives policy replacement that can be helped through CCM as well.
Okay, great. Next slide. As insurers look to improve customer experience, they face two main challenges listed here. First, they are increasingly recognizing policyholders as their end customer. Many insurers view the agent or distributor as their main customer and have focused on communication systems, focused their communication systems on them. However, policyholders want to interact directly with the insurer more and more, And even insurers without direct-to-consumer distribution are seeing increased interaction through call centers and websites. These policyholders have expectations set by companies outside of the insurance industry, companies like Amazon.com, Facebook, Starbucks, Southwest Airlines. You've probably heard of them, and you've probably had experiences with them, generally excellent ones. And because of those expectations, insurance consumers are increasing their expectations as well. Another challenge is with unifying the message to customers. Many carriers have multiple core systems, including policy admin, billing, claims, and other systems, with varying capabilities over multiple communication channels. They find their legacy systems are not able to communicate in channels that the customers prefer, such as mobile, web, social media, and more we're seeing communication through video. These insurers find it difficult to provide a unified customer experience with current systems and are looking to CCM, which is Customer Communication Management, as a solution.
And Tom, I'd cite an example from this morning as actually a good point about how customers' expectations are changing. If there's any golf fans out there, you may have heard the story that yesterday Rory McIlroy arrived for the big golf tournament, and United lost his golf clubs, which was sort of an important tool for him. And so he tweeted United that, and he has like 1.9 million followers on Twitter. So he tweeted them that he really needed his clubs, and they were able to track them down and tweet back that they found them and would deliver them straight to the tournament for him in time for the opening rounds. And customers sort of expect that they can reach their service providers by any means necessary and get some kind of response, even if the response is simply, hey, this is a public forum, you need to reach out to us privately. They still expect to get something back, and oftentimes insurers don't have the multi-channel communication thing down yet, to say the least.
Okay, we can move to the next slide. And this slide shows some of the benefits of augmenting legacy core systems with CCM. Where legacy systems were designed around policy data, CCM can provide a more customer-centric view of the data. And CCM also provides robust tools for content generation and consolidates consumer data through integration with the various core systems. CCM solutions can also provide delivery of content through the channels delivered by customers rather than the limited capabilities available from the legacy core systems.
And one of the things that you have to realize when looking at legacy admin systems is that they were designed with the idea that it would be totally natural to have a different a different system, or I should say at least a different policy per customer, not a set of policies for a single customer. And so it's not uncommon for an insurer to have many systems with all kinds of different interfaces for customers. Some may be plain English output that the customer can understand, while others may be pretty lousy mainframe codes, such as my current homeowners insurance provider, who I won't name, where I get my deck page every year and have no idea what my coverage is. I have to call an agent to figure it out. And so a CCM solution can really help provide the translation, if you will, from what interesting data we have in-house to something that customers can actually understand.
Okay, and the next slide. So where we talked on the last slide about augmenting a legacy system that's in place, here we talk a little bit about adding a CCM to a system when you're replacing a policy admin system. And the benefits of that are greater when doing this, because modern policy admin systems make customer-centric data available. So CCMs require less integration and can be leveraged to provide richer customer experiences through various channels. CCM content generation tools also improve speed to market by allowing business users to make simple changes rather than rely on IT or the policy admin vendor to create new documents. And CCM tools can automate certain workflows to improve processes like policy issuance. Carriers that are implementing CCM are seeing these benefits and using CCM solutions as part of their overall customer experience improvement efforts. So Chad, any other comments before we turn it back to Marlene?
Yeah, I think that it's important to understand when dealing with modern policy admin systems that you're not going to solve your problem with just implementing a modern policy admin system. It's going to make a big difference in the quality of your communications from the standpoint of you're going to have better quality data, more access to data, more transparency into the data, and oftentimes you get away from things like ugly mainframe codes. But what most modern admin systems aren't designed to do is to serve as a true hub for not only for print, which they oftentimes do just well enough, but also for this unified communication strategy across mobile, web, social. They're just not meant for that, and so maybe one or two, but by and large, it's critical that you think about this when you're replacing an admin system, that there are other pieces that need to be considered, and CCM is definitely one of them.
Okay, and with that, we'll turn it back to Marlene.
Well, thank you very much, Tom and Chad. That was great. I think now I'd like to ask Rich and Jim to provide us with a brief overview of their companies and maybe give us a little bit of background as well to the joint policy admin system and CCM offering that addresses the trends we're seeing in the marketplace and which Tom and Chad have just talked to us about. I'm going to turn this over to you, Rich.
Sure. Thanks, Marlene. Hello, everyone. I'm Rich Barbarino. I'm, as Marlene introduced, I work for OneShield, and OneShield is right in the middle of what Chad and Tom were speaking of. We are a core system provider founded in 1999 by insurance executives, and currently we provide policy billing and rating solutions. We're currently working on our claims system. We're headquartered here in Marlborough, Massachusetts. And as you can see, the town of Seattle, the lovely city of Marlborough, Massachusetts, outside of Boston. One of the value propositions I think that OneShield brings to the table is slightly different. We're solely focused on property and casualty. In that we, for the past 15 years or so, have been building out not only base workflow, but also base content, rules, forms, coverages, coverage attributes, algorithms, in over 44 different lines of business. And then, of course, you can see here solutions across all lines of business, personal, commercial, specialty, and surety. We really took a conservative New England approach to relationships with our clients. We really wanted to have a depth and breadth of insurance functionality. So we took the practical and pragmatic approach of really looking at those relationships that we entered into early on to really build out our content so that our future customers and the customers that were early adopters could benefit of the rich content that OneShield brings to the table to accelerate implementations. And one of the reasons why we're here today is we really found a good partner in Xpertdoc, and we're jointly implementing our solutions together. And we found a lot of complementary not only cultural, but in the space of policy replacement, as Chad and Tom alluded to, there are things that policy companies do very well, or policy administration companies do very well, and there are things that they could do, but it's not really meant for them to do, meaning I could extend my system to provide some CCM capability. However, with a partner like Xpertdoc, who has mastered this area, it's great to have a partnership with them to really, for their clients, who are also our clients, to really expand upon what that system can do and provide a richer user experience. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my friend Jim. He's going to chat about Xpertdoc and our partnership a little bit more.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate those kind words, and echo the sentiments right back to OneShield. Xpertdoc, we're a software company, 100% focused on document output and customer communications. Like OneShield, we're focused in the insurance market space, property and casualty is a core element to everything we do. We also work in life and health. And we provide the end-to-end solution for digital and print communications. And in general, two things. Like OneShield, it's more than just having great technology. It's having great service, delivering to your clients, having that customer-focused relationship, much like the carriers looking to have a more customer-focused as opposed to a policy-focused relationship today. Historically, both policy admin systems and communication technology were working in the industry. What we have today are modern solutions with enhanced capabilities, enhanced communication, enhanced integration capabilities. We have much more data today, and our clients are expecting more out of us. Much like all of us, we have smartphones and tablets. I want to download my policy in my living room on my tablet, maybe at the, out at the garage when I'm getting my car inspected and I forgot to get a recent copy, I can get it on my smartphone. I want the same look and feel no matter where I'm at. OneShield has the data. Xpertdoc is delivering that digital content no matter how we're sending it. Email, text, print, it's all available. Rich, do you want to jump in here and let's sort of tag team a little bit about the opportunities we're recognizing out there? And the power?
Absolutely, Jim. So I kind of like the first bullet. It's the two best-of-breed technologies. Jim kind of outlined what Xpertdoc does really well. And it's complementary in a way to what we provide. We're really concerned about, as Jim mentioned, the data and ensuring that the data is not only balanced from a billing perspective, but that is there and then available to be rendered onto downstream systems, whatever they may be. In this particular case, from a CCM perspective, then it's the ability to consume that and then do wonderful things with it. As Jim mentioned, apps, ability to print and have consumers dictate the way and the manner in which they want to do business. The other thing that I know Chad and Tom mentioned was that one of the things that policy does not do well, and I think this is where a complementary feature of Xpertdoc is kind of give that rich consumer UI look and feel. From a policy administration standpoint, we're really concerned about all folks that are interested in the policy transaction lifecycle. Agents, for example, TPAs, inspection companies, home office underwriters. And only recently has the trend been, okay, now guys, you got to focus on the customer. Well, we're so used to, from a policy side, providing a business level view or relying on people who know insurance to give them that user experience and to be efficient, but it's a completely different dynamic to now face the customer. And as Tom mentioned, the Amazons of the world, all of the companies you could think of, even down to your airlines. I even hate to mention them, but they really provide an industry standard user interface that now the bar is being raised. And one that policy administration systems, though, could be rallied to raise the bar there, it's not really the best tool to bring to the table to kind of counteract and meet those customer expectations. Well, one, cost effectively, and two, quickly. Even though the ability is there, it's not the right tool to bring to the job. Right? I can hammer in a nail with a screwdriver, but that's probably not the best idea. So when we really talk about two best-of-breed technologies here, it's really complementary for us. And I'll turn it over to Jim to talk about the shared customer-centric philosophy, because that's quite important when you're going through a multifaceted, could be year or 2-year implementation that has, as every project has, not only ups and downs, but its challenges and opportunities.
Yeah, that's something that we both share, and it's been core to this relationship is, delivering on the services, on that project management, helping the customer get from A to Z. There is a lot of moving parts here, and this is no small effort. One of the things you keep hearing is, speed to market, some of the points that sort of sit in the background and things that, I get a new policy admin system, I get a new billing system, I have a legacy communications platform. That speed gets impacted to deliver on with all this new technology. How do we get it out and start taking advantage of it? One of the great things about this relationship, having a modern policy admin system and having a modern document generation solution, we're able to speed up those movements. We get new products to market quicker. We remove some of the past historic development and programming things to drag and drop technology. Now we're coming with a solution that's pre-integrated. We already know where the data is coming from. We already have those pipes put together to take that, speeding again that implementation, easing the pain on the client. The real-time access to ISO forms and AIS and any of your other forms, Xpertdoc brings technology to allow us to compare and contrast, show what's changed, eliminate some of that manual processing of the past, again, speeding your efforts to get things to market, to get new changes to your end user, to provide better customer experience. All these things, are core to both of our philosophies, really. And with that, I think, are we ready to move and maybe see some of the live template building? Whoops, sorry, getting ahead of myself. We have one more slide here. This sort of gives you that view of the end-to-end solution. With this standpoint, you have OneShield on our left here, Xpertdoc sitting in the middle. We're taking that data load from OneShield as well as any of your other data silos and creating new templates, new documents, outputs. We provide a whole lot of technology and solutions here that sort of sit behind the scenes. Migration tools. We have patent pending migration technology. Not only are you putting in a new policy system, you're putting a new document system. What are we doing with our old templates? How do we get from A to Z? Xpertdoc not only is successful here, we thrive here. This is right in our wheelhouse. We have special technology, patent pending, that we can take your old templates and automate that migration and get that to a point where you're now delivering those changes to your customers. Output, all the things we expect in today's world, web, email, mobile, social, print, all of them. Have it look the same from one to the other. This is where we're at. With that, let's move on. Marlene, do you want to send it on for the demo point?
Yes, I believe I've just done so. Let me know, Jim.
Okay. If everyone can see, this is Xpertdoc Designer. If you'll recognize this, it's Microsoft Word with an additional toolbar. So behind the scenes in a real-world environment, we've been integrated with your new OneShield installation. We're in our system, and now we're going to design the templates. Historically, this has been a pain point for many organizations. Again, going back to the speed point, how long it takes us to get to market with new products, to make changes, to update new forms, to localize them. Let's take the programming out of that. Let's speed this up. Let's get it out of development, move it over to BAs. Some of these things, drag and drop technology, being able to take data values from my XML input from OneShield, drag them onto the screen where they belong, whether we're inserting new images, charts, sub-documents, sub-templates. It's all in a Word interface that everyone is familiar with, everyone's comfortable with. It allows us to quickly go to market with new product, and that not only adds value to the carriers, it adds value to their end users, the customer, the policyholder, the agents, all across the board partners. This gives us our ease of use, speeding things up. And with that, I think actually let's go over and take a look at what a final document looks like over in the OneShield interface.
Thanks, Jim. And I will show. All right. Can everybody see my screen currently?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Looking good.
So as much as simulating XML going between systems is like showing the making of sausage. What we want to do is really focus on the end result. So I'm going to log in as an underwriter. And in this particular scenario, the XML was sent to the Xpertdoc, and now it's come back. So I'm going to look for Crawford Construction and the policies. Just a different way of searching for me. I'm going to filter this to Crawford. And I'm going to select Crawford Construction. And I'm going to look at the documents produced for them. And here you can see there's the document ID, a unique enum that, or it could also be a foreign key shared between us and Expertdocs. And now I'm going to look at the finished product. And here you go. Much like it was configured in the Xpertdoc Designer. Here you can see the end result. And if you kind of go onto the pages, you see a sample CPP declarations page. Albeit a thin slice, but I think everybody gets the idea of the functionality here as to the tightly coupled integration between OneShield and Xpertdoc. Now, when we go to speed to market, as it seems to be the buzzword, now since those pipes are already established, it's just a matter of looking at what the product definition is and what needs to be rendered on the form, making sure that OneShield is sending the correct information to Xpertdocs, and then using their designer template to make sure the fields get in the right location, have the right variability, if you will. If this particular product, then we're going to put it in this particular area. If that particular product, then we're going to put it in that particular area. It really speeds up, the process to implement it, not only from a policy side, but also from the Xpertdoc CCM side. The other thing I would mention, and we echo the sentiments that Jim put forth on data migration. Not only is it about going forward and new, it's also about taking the data that you have in the legacy environment and moving it into the current environment, to conversion, if you will. OneShield has very similar and complementary accelerators to that data migration process. One of the things that we like about Xpertdocs is they provide that in their realm as well. So not only does OneShield have our best practices and our staging tables established and rules to appropriately populate data and accelerate that process, so does Xpertdoc. So there's not one person waiting for the other to catch up. It can all be done in unison, which makes it a lot easier when you're working on a project that you're hitting those interim deliverables together, and there isn't a lag based on technology or resource availability. Okay. I think that's, from my standpoint, from a show perspective, it's actually pretty easy. It's a nice, pretty end result. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Marlene. There you go.
Thank you very much, Rich and Jim. That brings an end to the presentation. We do have some time for questions, so please feel free to send them in using the question pane on the right-hand side of the screen. We'd love to hear from you.
I have a question for Chad, and he can send me the answer via email. But if he could forward me and Rich the name of his carrier, we'd like to help them out with a modern solution.
More than happy.
Thanks.
I'll hold my comments.
I'm seeing one question. Yeah, there's a lot of interest in this. Can you explain a little bit more how form conversion works from a legacy system? I don't know I can address that question to any of our panelists really, but perhaps I can start with Francis. Are you there?
Yes, I am, Marlene. And yes, this is indeed an area that is of a great interest. The main thing with legacy form conversion is that you need to make sure that whoever you work with first has actual, real, proven technology, because oftentimes we see vendors claiming that they have legacy migration capabilities, but in actuality, all it really is just a whole bunch of people thrown at a problem, hoping that the brute force approach will deliver result in a good timing, and the experience of the industry has not been very good. The second thing that you want to establish once you have make sure that the supplier actually has the technology for the migration is that this technology covers both the content, so the wording of the legacy forms, but also the business rules and the formatting. And without the combination of all of these three elements, what you end up doing is a lot of rework, a lot of professional services and engineering that are going to go into your legacy migration project, which we've seen carriers have migration projects drag over 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So obviously not an happy prospect for any type of business. And there was actually a nice blog on by DocuLab, so published recently, that highlights the differences between the various approach to legacy forms migration. But again, I mean, I think these are the key elements. Make sure that the vendor you select has actual proven technology, and that this technology covers both the wording, the formatting, and the business rules from your legacy form system to the new one.
Thank you, Francis. Rich, did you have anything to add on the OneShield side?
No, I concur. Francis is making my job a heck of a lot easier. I think it's attention to detail and fundamentals, and having a partner that has been through the mill, so to speak, and that can guide you along the way. And then, having that constant communication, and then also not only partners, I should say, not just to be policy focused. It's also all of your other partners. Only CCM is one of them. They're all of your other partners in your ecosystem, if you will, that will touch conversion. The same thing to be said for them, and establishing a practice that's dedicated to that, and standing up a project team. And then notice I say team, not teams, or maybe a workflow stream that has got multiple disciplines from multiple vendors or multiple system representatives is important. But you definitely have to give it its own seat at the table as part of its program. And I think by doing those things and having the correct complementary technology, the folks who have been through the mill, ultimately success is the only outcome.
Excellent. Thank you, Rich. And the Novarica team, anything to add to that?
Sure. I mean, I would just point out that conversion can be arguably the hardest, most expensive part about implementing these systems. So having those tools and for the conversion process is just essentially a huge time and money saver. So I would urge you to consider that when looking at any CCM solution. How good is the conversion capability of that system?
Excellent. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm not seeing, we'll just wait a few more seconds to see if there are any other questions that come through. Please feel free to send your questions on. Okay, well, that's a wrap for today. Thank you all very much for attending, and thank you to our panelists for providing your insights and thoughts. And I will be sending out a copy, a link to a recording of this webinar. Please feel free to forward that on to people, to colleagues that you feel might find it of interest. And thank you again very much for your time. Have a good afternoon.